20 of the best games for you dad gamers across 5 categories. A wish list and a gift guide for Father's Day or any occasion. Something for every kind of dad gamer and everyone shopping for one. Every game on this list is a great parent fit. Short sessions, frequent saves, completable in a reasonable amount of time. Honest picks for busy parent gamers. Subscribe if that sounds like you. Games to play on your parent hour. Kids are asleep, the house is quiet. You have a bit of time to play before going to bed yourself. That's the parent hour. These games are built for it. Quick to start and you feel like you got somewhere, even if you only get 20 minutes of game. Turnip Boy commits tax evasion. The name of the game tells you the tone already. You're a delinquent turnip with outstanding tax debt. The game sends you through Zelda-style dungeons on increasingly absurd errands for vegetable villains who absolutely had it coming. Every legal document you find gets shredded. The humor doesn't quit. Put it down after 20 minutes and you'll feel like you got somewhere. Citizen Sleeper 2 Starward Vector. You're a synthetic human who's escaped the corporation that built you. Each in-game day, you roll a handful of dice and decide how to spend them. The game is set on a crumbling space station where people are just barely making things work, and your relationships with them shape how the story goes. The station feels inhabited in a way that's unusual for the genre. Every session picks up exactly where you left it. Against the Storm. Each run is a self-contained settlement. You're building in a dark fantasy forest. The workers around you have their own needs and preferences, and the goal is to hit the Queen's quota before the next storm rolls through. No two runs play the same way. Just know that sessions here tend to run longer than everything else in this category. Finishing a run in one go feels right. Wildfrost. Every unit on your field has a countdown timer. When it hits 0, they attack. Managing your timers against your opponents is the actual game, and it makes every decision feel meaningful. The world looks like a winter storybook. Just know, the run structure is built to pull you back in. Starting another run is always easy. Memories of the past. These were your games before kids were part of the picture. Remasters, remakes, and one that just launched for people who have been waiting for almost 30 years. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2. Both original games rebuilt completely. The levels, the soundtrack, all of it. The feel is right in a way remasters often miss. If you play these on PlayStation 1 or Nintendo 64, the first 5 seconds of the first level will do something to you. 2-minute levels. The gap between I remember this and just one more level is approximately 0. Resident Evil 4 Remake. Leon Kennedy is sent to a rural Spanish village to rescue the president's daughter, and it gets strange fast. The 2005 original invented the over-the-shoulder shooting template that half of the action games since have borrowed. This version keeps the structure and reworks everything around it. On saves, typewriters give you unlimited slots on standard and assisted, but they are limited on hardcore. Turn to Monkey Island. Ron Gilbert created the original Monkey Island in 1990 and came back over 30 years later to finish what he started. You're back on Malay Island as Guybrush Threepwood, still chasing the secret, still outrunning LeChuck. The puzzles have that classic LucasArts logic, but the solution is always obvious in hindsight. No fail states. If you remember these games at all, this will land. Heroes of Might and Magic, Olden Era. Released April 30th, still in early access. They released a free demo available on Steam before the early access. I played that quite a bit, and I can confirm this is very similar to Heroes 3. People that have played Heroes 3 have been waiting nearly 3 decades for this game to exist. The loop is the same. Move heroes across the map, build your town, go to war in turn-based hex battles. Each faction plays differently. The one more turn problem is fully present here. Consider yourself warned. Play with the kids. This one's for the other half of Father's Day. For those sessions where you enjoy the time together with the family. Split fiction. Two writers get pulled into their own manuscripts. One is a writer of sci-fi, one on fantasy, and they spend the game trying to help each other and find a way out. The chapters keep changing what kind of game this is. 1 minute you're flying dragons, the next you're fighting as cyber ninjas. This is always a 2-player game, and a friend's pass means that the second player doesn't need their own copy of the game. Lego Star Wars, the Skywalker Saga.
Help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi.
All 9 Star Wars films broken into levels, 2 players at any point. The big moments get played straight, then undercut just enough by Lego humor to make them feel new. Kids handle the easier sections, you handle the chaos. If you grew up with the original trilogy, this one lands in a way that's hard to explain until you're playing it. Sackboy, a big adventure. Sackboy is a small knitted creature, familiar from the Little Big Planet games. Where the LBB games were more focused on creativity and sharing, Sackboy is built purposefully as a platformer. In this game, the craft world gets upended by Vex, a cosmic jester who kidnaps his friends to build a chaos machine. You chase him through a series of themed worlds to get everyone back. Each one looks and plays completely different, up to 4 players throughout, and someone can drop in mid-level without stopping. Some levels run entirely on the music. When the beat hits, so do the enemies. Octodad, Dadliest catch. You're an octopus pretending to be a human dad, and your family has somehow never noticed. You control each limb separately for tasks that should be simple. Getting through a grocery run is harder than it has any right to be. Making coffee takes concentration. A suspicion meter tracks the chaos you leave behind. In co-op, 2 players split control of the same body, which makes everything considerably worse or more fun. For a Father's Day list, a dad whose whole cover depends on holding it together in public lands closer to home than it probably should. Back in the game. This category is for you if it's been a while since you've played, or for whoever's shopping for you. Stray. You play as a stray cat who has fallen into a walled underground city. The only inhabitants are small robots going about their routines. You explore on cat terms, following scent trails, squeezing in the gaps. There's a mystery underneath the city, but the game never pushes you toward it. There are people who hadn't played anything in years sit down with this game and not move for 2 hours. Kenya, Bridge of Spirits. Made by a small studio, but it looks like a Pixar film. Kana is a spirit guide who helps the dead move on. The forest she travels through has been corrupted by the grief of people who couldn't let go. You gradually collect small spirit creatures called the Rot who grow with you. Story difficulty keeps the combat manageable, and meditation spots through the world give you natural places to step away. Ori and the Will o' the Wisps. Ori is a forest guardian spirit separated from his family. He is trying to restore a corrupted forest back to health. The movement builds over time until Ori feels fast and precise. The world is hand painted. The difficulty scales down if needed. If you played platformers growing up and want back in, this is where I'd point you to. Abzû. 2 hours and no fail states. Pretty much what you do is swim, and the world opens as you find shrines. Schools of fish follow you around. The musical score is excellent. It carries the whole thing. Chapter select means you can return anywhere. It asks almost nothing of you and somehow manages to leave an impression. Games worth the time. These are the games you sink into. Solo and story driven. Just you and the controller. The kind where stopping is the hard part. Shadow of the Colossus. You've made a deal with a god to restore someone you've lost. The price is 16 colossi, enormous creatures living alone across a vast and silent landscape. Each one is a puzzle before it's a fight, and no two fights are the same. Every colossus you bring down leaves you feeling a little worse, and the game builds toward that deliberately. 20 years on, and it still works. The game was beautiful when it first released, and the 2018 remake makes it even more polished. Control. You walk into the Federal Bureau of Control, a brutalist government building that investigates paranormal phenomena, and the previous director is already dead. The service weapon in his hand accepts Jesse Faden as the next one. The FBC is full of employees who have mostly come to terms with their workplace being deeply wrong in ways no one can fully explain, and the game commits hard to that tone.
But I'm stronger than them. We're stronger.
Ghost of Tsushima. Jin Sakai and the uncle who raised him. The relationship between them and what it cost Jin to choose himself over everything he was taught to be runs through the entire game. 13th century Tsushima Island under Mongol invasion. The wind guides you through the world instead of a compass. The duels are really good. The quiet moments between them are even better. For Father's Day specifically, the question the game keeps asking lands harder than usual. What do you owe the person who shaped you? God of War 2018.
Father, look!
I know you've probably seen this game before, but for Father's Day, a story about the father and his son, it just has to be included. Kratos, a god of war who has spent his entire existence destroying things, is trying to teach his son how to be better than he is.
Don't make the same mistake. Have faith in him.
Every instruction he gives Atreus is something he is also telling himself. The camera never cuts. The whole game is one continuous shot from the starting campfire to the end. The combat is excellent. The story catches you off guard in ways I won't spoil. For Father's Day, I don't know how you pick something else.
No. We are not men. We are more than that.
And if that parent hour window is where most of your gaming happens, I've put together a full list built specifically around it. Link is in the description. If one of these hit home for you, let me know in the comments. I want to know which game it was. A like goes a long way for a channel this size, and there's a Ko-fi link below if you want to support the channel directly. Happy Father's Day to every dad gamer out there. You've earned the save point. Thanks for watching, see you in the next one.